Hi students, how are you? Hope you all are fine. So welcome to the Kalvi TV video lessons. Today we are going to learn a new lesson from the first unit. The title is from the prose section. The title is Two Gentlemen of Verona by Archibald Joseph Cronin. Before going into the lesson, we shall learn about the author, Archibald Joseph Cronin. Who is he? Archibald Joseph Cronin is shortly called as A.J. Cronin. He was born in the year 1896 and died in the year 1981. He was a Scottish novelist, dramatist, and a physician. Physician means he is a doctor, he is a surgeon. A doctor by training, Cronin was one of the most renowned storytellers of the 20th century. What happened? How he became a writer? A doctor became a writer. That too, a prolific, successful writer. In the year 1930, Cronin was diagnosed with chronic duodenal ulcer, maybe near the stomach, some kind of disease for that doctor. And he was told to take rest for 6 months, only taking milk diet in the countryside. So at that time, while he was taking rest, he was finally able to indulge in his lifelong desire to write a novel. Earlier, he wrote only prescriptions, scientific research papers. Now, he started to write novels, short stories. At that time, in a span of 3 months, he composed his first novel, Hatter's Castle. That became a huge success. His medical career changed and his skill of narrative writing, his deep social conscience and finely drawn characters appreciated by many critics throughout the world. Okay, some of his books which are very popular and they are all bestsellers. Among them are The Citadel and The Keys of the Kingdom. These two stories have been filmed and telecasted in TVs, particularly in the BBC radio and BBC TV series. That's how A.J. Cronin became a powerful and successful writer. After choosing writing as his career, he never returned back to practicing medicine. Okay, students, this is all about A.J. Cronin. Let's move to the title. The title here is Two Gentlemen of Verona. You have learned plays of William Shakespeare, poems of William Shakespeare, and Two Gentlemen of Verona is one of the earliest plays of William Shakespeare. Inspired by the title, A.J. Cronin chose this title for his short story. And the play is Verona. It's a city in Italy, and there this A.J. Cronin, he went for some kind of experience there, and there he was affected by some memories. Two Gentlemen of Verona is a memoir of A.J. Cronin. What is memoir? Memoir is a past experience or personal experience of a writer, just that is recollecting of his personal experiences, personal memories. Okay, let's have a warm-up session. And what's the story is about? Life is full of ups and downs. It has pleasant surprises as well as rude shocks. However, every incident offers a lesson for us to learn and evolve into better individuals. Okay, students, if you look at your book, the warm-up section, the first question we have, just look at that question. Some unexpected challenges or adversities. What is adversities? Some problems, things which are difficult or unpleasant experiences that one could face in life. I repeat, what are the unexpected challenges one could face in life? Can you name it? Yes, like accidents, business loss, sudden death, poverty, war, and now throughout the world is experiencing COVID-19 pandemic. Right. The second question, what qualities do you think one should possess to handle hardships and overcome them? Right? Yes. So hope, hard work. Yes. Okay. Let's come to the story. The story is about love, devotion, sacrifice, responsibility, sincerity, and maturity of the two characters. Who are the characters in this story? One is the two brothers, Niccolo and Jacopo. The other is the narrator. Then the narrator's driver, Luigi, and Niccolo and Jacob's sister, Lucia, and the nurse. Okay, just moving into the story, we shall understand what is the outline of the story. Two young boys, they work very hard and do different jobs, and they showcase an unusual devotion towards their work and family. The two young gentlemen of Verona face their difficulties head on without a single complaint. The title is quite justified by A.J. Cronin. Okay, let us find out who are the two real gentlemen of Verona. Right. The story begins at the foothills of Alps. Do you know where Alps is? It's located in the Central Europe, stretching across several countries: France, Italy, Germany, Austria, and another 3 countries. The story starts there. If you want, you can turn to your page number 1, first paragraph. The narrator, with his companions, travels towards Verona. At the foothills of Verona, at the foothills of Alps, 2 small boys selling wild strawberries. And they stopped near the boys. The narrator wanted to purchase wild strawberries, but the narrator's driver, Luigi, warned the narrator, "Don't buy. We will get better fruit in Verona." He shrugged his shoulders. Rising his shoulders. "Don't buy this. We'll get better one there, because these boys look very shabby." And the 2 boys, one boy had a own jersey and a cut off khaki pants. The other, he wore a loose outer garment and he was very skinny. He was very lean. Yet, gazing at the two little figures with their brown skins, tangled hair, and dark, earnest eyes, the two boys were strangely attracted for the narrator. He wanted to buy a basket from these two little boys. The narrator's companion, he discovered that these two boys are, one is Nicola, he is 13 years old, another one is Jacopa, who is 12 years old. So before leaving to Alps, they bought a big basket and started towards the town. Okay, towards the page number 2. Next morning, coming out of the hotel, the narrator saw the friends, the two boys, shining shoes beside the fountain in the public square. They are doing brisk business in the morning. The narrator watched for a few moments. Then the trade reduced. He went near to the boys. The boys greeted them with friendly faces. Hi, sir. With friendly faces, he greeted them. Again, the narrator was impressed. Next, what happened? The narrator was impressed. He went near to the boys. I thought you picked fruit for a living, said the narrator. And the reply from the boys was, Sir, we do many things. Nicola answered very seriously. He glanced at them hopefully for doing some business. So often we show visitors through the town. We contact tourists. If you want, we will take you to Juliet's tomb. It's a famous place. It's a guided tourist to know about William Shakespeare and other places of interest. The narrator was ready. All right, smiled the narrator. You take us along. We shall move. Let's move. And so the place you are watching in this slide is Juliet's grave, one of the famous place in Verona. Right. And these two boys took the narrator around Verona. The narrator's interest provoked by their remarkable demeanor, appearance, their way of behavior. Though they were childish, in many ways they were innocent. Jacopo was lively as a squirrel. Nicola's smile was steady and engaging. That can be seen in the text of your page number 2. Yet, there was some seriousness in their face, beyond their years. Nicola is 13 years old, Jacopo is 12 years old, but their faces are quite serious. In the following weeks, they were extremely useful by buying things, running errands, and even reserving seats at the opera, choosing a good restaurant, satisfying all our needs. The narrator was happy with these two boys. Here is a slide about opera. Opera is an open theatre. Right. What happened? The narrator got impressed by the two young boys. They have that spirit, willingness to work. Under the hot sun, they worked a lot. Early morning, they shined shoes, then sold fruits. They hawked newspapers. They conducted tourists, and they ran errands, delivering, collecting things. They did all jobs in Verona. Right. What happened then? One night, the narrator saw the boys in the windy and deserted square, resting on the stone pavement beneath the lights. Nicholas sat upright, looking very tired because of the daily work. At his feet, there was a bundle of unsold newspapers. Jacoba, resting his head upon his brother's shoulder, was asleep. It was nearly midnight. The narrator came there and found these boys. The narrator asked them, "Why are you so late, Nicola? Working in the midnight?" The reply from the boys was, "Sir, we are waiting for the last bus from Padua. We have to sell all our papers when it comes in. We are waiting for that." So till midnight, these two boys work a lot. The narrator asked them, "Must you work so hard? You both look tired. Why do you work so hard? Why? What's the reason?" And the boys replied, "Sir, we are not complaining. We are not tired. We are not complaining." Again, the narrator was very much impressed. Okay. Then, next morning, near the fountain, he inquired the same Nicola and Jacoba near that fountain. They both were polishing shoes. "Okay, boys, you earn a lot by doing many jobs, but you earn a lot. When I find you eating meals, you were eating only black bread and figs, and you don't wear proper clothes. Why? For what purpose you save money?" The narrator asked him, "What do you do with the earned money? Why don't you spend on your clothes? Why don't you eat good meal?" Nicola grew pale and looked to the ground. Again, the narrator asked them, "Are you both saving to emigrate to America?" They laughed. The reply was, "Sir, we should greatly like to go to the States, but here at present, we have other plans." Huh? The narrator asked them, "What plans?" Nicola smiled and uncomfortably answered in a low voice, "Just plans, sir." He did not reveal anything. Okay, boys, on Monday, that is day after tomorrow, we are leaving from Verona. What can I do for you? What help can I do for you? Suddenly, Jacoba, a small boy, said, "Sir, every Sunday we make a visit to the country, to Polita, 30 kilometers from here. Usually we ride by hiring bicycles. But tomorrow, since you are so kind, tomorrow is Sunday, you are so kind, you might send us in your car." Jacoba, the small little boy, he was very curious. The narrator answered, "Yes, okay. I have asked my driver, Luigi, to take rest. So I will drive you out myself. I will come with you." Nicola was vexed. He again asked the narrator, "Sir, we don't want to trouble you. Are we troubling you?" No problem, no troubles. So, the following afternoon on Sunday, they drove to the tiny village set high upon the hillside. Narrator imagined that their destinations would be some humble dwellings in the hillside. But directed by Jacoba, we drew up at a large red roof villa surrounded by a hilly, high stone wall. They went near to a red roofed villa. The narrator could not believe his eyes, and before he could recover his breath, the two passengers, Nicola and Jacoba, leaped from the car and went inside the red roofed villa. Sir, we will back soon. Just wait for an hour. We will back. And they ran into the red roofed villa. And he was waiting. After a few minutes, the narrator followed them and went inside. There, he met a nurse. The red roof villa is a hospital. The two boys were seated at the bedside of a girl of about 20 years, who, propped upon pillows, wearing a pretty lace jacket, was listening to the chatter. Her eyes, soft and tender, she resembled like her brothers. So the girl, both the boys met their sister, Lucia. The nurse murmured, "Sir, do you want to go in? Lucia will be pleased to see you." "Oh, no." The narrator shook his head and turned away. He felt he should not disturb this family party. But at the foot of the staircase, he drew up and begged the nurse to tell him all she knew about these two boys. The nurse explained. Nicola, Jacoba, and sister Lucia. Their father, a widower, a well-known singer, had been killed in the early part of the war. Shortly after it, a bomb had destroyed their home and thrown the three children into the streets. They had suffered horribly from near starvation and exposure to the cold winter. They were homeless. They built a small shelter with rubbles, pieces of cloths, and broken bricks. Then for 3 years, the Germans ruled the city. The boys grew to hate the Germans. When the resistance movement began secretly to form, they were among the first to join. When the war was over, we had peace at last. They came back to their beloved sister, and they found her suffering from tuberculosis of the spine. They were disappointed. They brought her here, persuaded us to take her into the hospital. In the 12 months she has been our patient, she has made good progress because of these two little boys. There is every hope that one day their sister will walk and sing again like their father. The nurse again said, these boys paid the fees regularly. I don't know how they paid, because after the war, work is very scarce in Verona. Learning all these things, The narrator waited outside. The boys rejoined, and then they all drove back to the city. While traveling, the narrator did not speak a word. He just preferred to feel that they had safely kept their secret. Their devotion had touched the narrator deeply. Edwin Muir ends the story. War had not broken their spirit. Their selfless action brought a new nobility to human life, gave promise of a greater hope for human society. That's all about the story and the message from the story. The message that we get from the two gentlemen of Verona is one should face one's adversities with courage and determination. It also teaches that behind soiled faces and torn cloths lie souls that are pure, full of love and self-sacrifice. Okay, students, I think you enjoyed the story. Better if you read the story from your textbook, you too will enjoy the spirit of the two little boys. Here is a recapitulation of the story. The first question: who did the narrator meet at the outskirts of Verona? Can you tell me? Yes, Niccolo and Jacopo. What were the various jobs undertaken by the little boys? Yeah, they sold fruits, they shined shoes, and they hawked newspapers. They helped the tourists. Good. Okay, the third one. How was the family affected by the war? They lost their father. They were homeless. Because of that, in the open winter, their sister was affected by tuberculosis. Okay. Why didn't the boys disclose their problem to the author? And they might have begged for help. They did not beg any help because they don't want sympathy from the author, from the narrator. Okay then. So we shall have a short summary of that story. It will be helpful for writing your paragraphs. Niccolo and Jacopo are brothers, lost their father and home because of war. They worked very hard, saved money for their sister. They did many jobs like selling newspapers, fruits, acting as tourist guide, polishing shoes, etc. They showed total devotion to their work and family. With hard work and love, human beings can combat difficult situations. Okay, finally, the outcome. The qualities that we have to possess to handle hardships and overcome the hurdles are question which I asked you in the warm-up session. Right. Perseverance, optimism, cheerfulness, honesty, compassion. As long as people are willing to make sacrifices for the well-being of others, there is hope for humanity. With this, we end the first prose section, Two Gentlemen of Verona. Thank you very much. In the next video, we shall learn about the vocabularies and other parts in the second episode. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you.
இந்நிகழ்ச்சியை பற்றிய தங்களின் மேலான கருத்துக்களை கீழ்க்கண்ட முகவரிக்கு கடிதம் மூலமாகவோ மின்னஞ்சல் மூலமாகவோ குறுஞ்செய்தி மூலமாகவோ தெரியப்படுத்தலாம். அனுப்ப வேண்டிய முகவரி: சிறப்பு அலுவலர், கல்வி தொலைக்காட்சி, 8ஆம் தளம், அண்ணா நூற்றாண்டு நூலகம், காந்தி மண்டப சாலை, கோட்டூர்புரம், சென்னை 6085. தொலைபேசி எண் 7824015000.